Hey guys, this is Zira. I just wanted to make a quick video here just explaining some of the basic pulls in Naxxramas as from a hunter perspective. This sort of guide is not going to be anything for like min-maxing or trying to do speed runs to the best, fastest speed possible. It's not really for that. It's more your casual player who might be pulling Naxxramas for the first time and just has a couple questions and things to look out for. Maybe I could just give you a couple tips to move forward and hopefully have a successful raid. I'll just start going through all the corners here. So you've got your Plague Wing, you've got your Military Wing, you've got your Abomination Wing, and your Spider Wing here. Typically, at least the way that our raid has always done it, is we start off with the Plague Wing because you want to get Hygen out of the way, because he's the guy who's probably going to end up killing most of your raid just because the dance mechanic and people having lag issues and whatnot, and you're going to lose most of your buffs from just people dying from that mechanic. It's just based upon experience, that's just what I've seen. So you want to get Hygen out of the way as quick as possible, and your warriors can, pop recklessness on him and hopefully kill him before you even get to the dance phase. So starting with the Plague Wing is probably going to be your best bet. So first of all, when you're going to start off standing right here in front of the Plague Wing, and the thing that you're going to look for first is a patrol. The patrol is going to go from around, I think it comes back down here and comes all the way up to the start, and it's just a gargoyle, and it's just going to go back and forth here, and it's going to just keep going back and forth. You want to get that out of the way as quick as first before you do anything else. Kill that patrol. The reason why is because you start pulling the mob right around here, and the patrol is going to come up and it's just going to start messing with your raid, and it's just not going to be a good time. So get that patrol out of the way as quick as possible, and you should be good to go. Just make sure it doesn't get pulled into this main room here in the center, because it will reset and you'll have to kill it all over again, and it'll patrol back, and it just takes up more time. So kill that patrol. Second thing, you're just going to pull the mobs right here. There's two slimes. If you are a hunter, you want to kite one of these slimes. You don't really want your tanks tanking them, because they're just going to do a whole bunch of damage. So ultimately, as a hunter, maybe there's another hunter that can help you out, or a mage, you're just going to want to keep aggro on it and pull it into the main room here. Just keep it off of your melee. Once those mobs are dead, you have an optional set of mobs you can kill here. Most of the times we would skip them. And then you're going to kill another mob here. Same thing, where you kite the slimes and assign marks for all the stuff that your tanks are going to tank. Once you kill this third mob here, there's going to be another gargoyle patrol that goes up and down this hallway here. You want to wait until that gargoyle is about in the center of the room here, and you're going to pull it, making sure that it doesn't pull the other two stone gargoyles that are here that you can't really target yet. You want to make sure that that gargoyle gets to you, doesn't pull these two, and you want to kill him first. Once he's dead, you're going to kill the two gargoyles that become targetable once you get close enough to them. Now, you want your tank to run up and target these and just run into them. You can't pull them as a hunter because they're not targetable. But the one thing that you can do as a hunter that's super helpful is assigning keybinds to all your marks and knowing what skull is. So I use F6 for skull, and all my keybinds for my marks are just F6 all the way to F12, and I have a delete key on the very end. It just makes it really easy to know where all of them are. So as soon as your tanks pull this or make these gargoyles targetable, just throw a skull onto one of them. Typically I throw it on the right, and it just makes it easy because you want it to single target these and get them down as soon as possible, because the longer it takes to kill them, your raid's going to die quicker. You're going to do that all the way down this entire hallway, just making sure that you mark the right or left one, whichever you want, with skull as soon as it becomes targetable, and just go from there. Then you're going to get to Noth. You're going to kill him. There's a bunch of boss guys out there. I'm not going to spend too much time on the bosses. And then you're going to go right into the gauntlet. Now, your job on the gauntlet, you don't really have too much of a role here unless you're the marker. You're going to be marking your big mobs. I forgot what they're called. The big dudes that kind of explode if you kill them in the raid. You're going to be marking them just to make it a little bit easier for people to see them. And if you're able to pull them away from the raid, pull them away from the raid, but also make sure that you are still stacked with the vast majority of your people so that you're not pulling a bunch of extra mobs. So you're going to run all the way through this gauntlet here and run into your corner. And then you're going to get ready to fight Hygen. You're going to run in, you're going to fight Hygen. There's really not too much to this gauntlet other than if you can pull things out of the group, do it. You're fight Hygen. You're going to go all the way over to Lotheb. There's really no pulls in between here, so you don't really have to worry about it. And then you kill Lotheb. So that's basically all of your Plague Wing. Now, you get back to the center, and immediately you're going to want to go to your Abomination Wing. The first thing that you got here is you've got 4 Abominations. Now, the best thing that I've found works here for these guys is have your tanks just run in. Don't shoot them or whatnot, because then they're all going to run towards you and they're going to stack. So the best option, have your tanks run in and have them take all of the Abominations to a corner. Now, keep in mind that there are some blobs here, or slimes, in this little zone 2 right here. And if you get too close to them or even remotely close and they're spawned there, they're going to run into the room. So one of the things you want to watch as a hunter especially is if these mobs get pulled, as well as any patrols that might be in this area that get pulled into this room on accident, because they have pretty big of an aggro range. So once your tanks have killed all these 4 Abominations, you're going to get ready to pull whatever is available in the second room. And it's not always the same thing every time. It depends a lot upon the pace of your raid and at what time you get there. So if possible, the first thing you want to pull is the slimes in the middle. You don't really have to shoot them. They should just come naturally as soon as you stand right in this little hallway here, because they have a huge aggro range. If you have enough tanks, then maybe you can get one of the Abomination patrols as well. They typically patrol just around in front here and then back into the slime room and then back around, kind of like a figure 8. I don't know the exact patrol of them, but they're pretty impossible to miss. So if they get close, pull them. Just pull them sooner than later and get a tank on them, mark them up. When you go into the second room, you want to make sure that your track undead is on, because you're going to see Grobulus up here on your minimap, and you'll be able to tell when he's going to drop slimes again. And that's really important to make sure that you're keeping track of that, because the last thing that you want is to be killing mobs in here, and next thing you know, Grobulus is dropping slimes on you. It's just not a good time. So make sure that when you're pulling, Grobulus is either has just thrown slimes or is walking away and slimes are dead. When you walk into here, or when you're starting to do your marks, there's going to be 3 Abominations on each side of this room. You want to throw your skull on the Abomination that's in the middle. I forgot what it's called, if it's the spewer or if it's the whatever it's called. It's the center one that you want to kill first, because it's going to do the most damage to your raid. So mark skull the center of the Abominations and then pull them back into the room back here. Again, you want to pull them back here, and you want to pull them back pretty far, because these slimes are going to keep spawning. And once you get the 2 Abominations done on both sides here, you're going to kill the 4 Abominations that are in the back. Depending upon whether or not Grobulus is nearby, you can either kill him in the room or you can take him all the way back here. Typically, we kill him in the room and just keep track of where Grobulus is at. Once all the Abominations in this room are dead, there might be a patrol over here. Don't really worry about it. I guess if you really want to kill it, you can wait, but it's just easier to deal with it later. You're going to stand right on the corner here. I find it easiest to just put a mark on top of yourself and just tell everybody to just stack on top of you. And there's a bunch of little slimes in this room, and you just got to AoE them down. Again, if you have any questions about guides on how to do Naxx, there's plenty of guides out there, but ultimately you want to not let these slimes get really close to you, and you want to AoE them down and stick together as you move around the room. Because if you spread out too much, all these individual slimes are just going to go all over the room, and it's going to be impossible to just AoE them down. So having a mark on top of yourself, giving people a reference on where to stand, is the best thing that you can do here. And you're just going to kite them towards the back of the room. Once you get to this corner, really try to get into that corner, and then just follow along the back of the room and kind of just make a circle in this whole area. Now keep in mind as well that Grobulus is still up here, and he's still potentially going to be throwing slimes down on you. So if this happens while you're kiting the slimes, make sure, or the small slimes, make sure that your tanks are ready to pick those up as well. Hopefully you time it right to where Grobulus isn't going to be throwing things down on you. Once these slimes are dead, there's going to be another Abomination in here, possibly a patrol. Kill it, let your tanks run into it. It's easier that way. Unless you want to pull it, it doesn't really matter. You're going to cross the slime here. And now here, you're going to have some options. Uh, what I see here is there's a bunch of abominations, there's a bunch of patrols, and different things that you can pull depending upon what you see is most available. So the first thing that I look at when I enter into this room is there's an abomination patrol typically around right here, and you want to pull that one. There's another one right around here. You want to pull that. So there's two abominations that you want to pull. Once those two are dead, there's a group of 4 abominations. You're going to mark those all up, and you're going to pull those right back to right where you all came out of that room where all the little slimes were at. Hopefully the slimes aren't going to respawn. They're not going to respawn before you kill all those guys. It takes them a little while to respawn, but they will respawn, and if you take too much time, they're all going to come back out here, and they're going to wipe your raid because you really have nowhere to go because you're cornered at that point. Once you kill those 4 abominations, you're going to hop over this slime right here, and you're just going to start killing the packs of undead. This is where it's really useful to have DBM. If you're raiding without Deadly Boss Mods DBM, I would highly suggest downloading it and getting it because most people have it nowadays and most people are using it, and it just makes your life so much easier. And there's a big dude here. I forgot what he's called, but he's the big guy in the center that looks obviously like the big main dude that you want to kill. And you're going to set a DBM timer for 10 seconds. Now, that's a signal to everybody to start casting on that guy. Basically, when there's like 3 seconds left, for hunters at least, for your aim shot, or mages for their power blast, just basically gives you 10 seconds so that everybody attacks him at the exact same time. That'll get him down to almost dead, if not dead instantly, and then you can continue with wiping up the rest of the packs. And at that point, it's basically you're just following the same thing all the way down here. There's abominations that walk around all of these little packs of undead, and I find it easiest to pull those away from the groups by going behind the pillars toward the back wall. But if you have enough tanks, or if you have anybody who's willing to do it, you can also just pull and get the abomination as well and just tank them off to the side. The important thing is that you're marking these up and your tanks know what their assignments are, so that you don't really have to think too much about the marks. You just kind of put a mark on there, you know a tank is going to pick it up, and you just go from there. Basically you're just going to repeat that, yeah. And once everything in this room is dead, you're ready to fight Patchwork. And again, I'm not going to really go over Patchwork because there's guides everywhere. Once you get into past the Frogger boss, hopefully nobody dies, and you're going to go into this next room. You're going to run. There's 2 options here. Either you pull the 2 abominations on the north wall to where you're at right as you cross the slime, or you have your tanks run in there. I find it easiest for just having the tanks running in there, because these guys will knock you up high into the air, and if you're too high up and you get knocked up, you're just going to die to fall damage unless you pop a lip or something. So it's easiest to just have your tanks run in here. Grobulus is going to be patrolling in this area, so you want to make sure that if you're pulling any abominations, you don't accidentally get the boss, but you should be able to pull the ones on the east wall. And once Grobulus is gone, you can also pull the ones on the bottom as well. I find it a lot easier now to just have the whole raid run to the abominations on the south wall, because there's a platform above you, and if those abominations knock you up, then you're not going to die to fall damage. After that, you just move forward here, and you move on to Gluth, and then there's really no pulls in between there. So just make sure that as a hunter, you know where you're trapping, you know where your trank shot rotation is, etc. on Gluth. So anyway, after Gluth is dead, you're going to go through here and move to Thaddeus. Now, the important thing about moving from Gluth to Thaddeus is that there is a patrol that goes back and forth across here. If you're able to, throw a mark on it quickly, let people know, because it sucks when people get all excited that, yeah, we killed Gluth, and then they just blindly run to Thaddeus and pull a patrol, and people start dying. So there you go. And then you kill Thaddeus and teleport back to the middle. At this point, your only 2 wings left. It's going to be the Spider Wing and the Military Wing. I'm going to go with the Spider Wing here. So if we're going through Spider Wing, this first pull here, if not done right, and if you don't pull the right things, it can kill a lot of the people in your raid from the poison damage that the big green spiders do. So the way that I found most success is there is a skitter patrol that makes a C formation, or a C shape patrol around this room here. The best way to do this is wait until that patrol is way out of the way, and then pull the first skitter pack on the left. And you're going to want to do this because if you pull the patrol first, they're kind of split out to where the first spider in the patrol is a little bit further in front of all the other spiders. And if you pull that one, then you might end up pulling either the pack on the far left or on the far right. So it's easiest just to pull the skitters first, and if you happen to get the patrol as well, if you get unlucky, then hopefully everybody AoEing down the skitter packs can AoE down 2 skitter packs at the same time and not have to worry about the mechanic of these spiders. So first thing you want to pull is these spiders on the left. Next thing you're going to want to pull is you're going to want to wait until the patrol comes back. You'll pull the second patrol. You'll pull the second pack of skitters, and then you can go forward with pulling the rest of these spiders in here. Now, the first thing about there's different ways to do these spider packs. The way that our raid would always do them is you have everybody stand on one side of the wall, and then you have a tank and a healer go around to the other side where they're fighting the spider that I can't remember the name of it, but it does a whole bunch of damage to you. You just have your tank go around there. If you are a hunter and you're pulling this, the best thing that you can do if you're doing it in this way is get your pet out and have your pet go around, pull the spiders, and come back. You really don't want to pull these yourself with your bow or crossbow, because as soon as you enter combat with these spiders, they have the potential to just pull you in using like a web ability, and then you just die. And your pet is immune to it, so really nothing happens to you. If your pet dies, that sucks, but it's really not as bad as dying and losing your world buffs. So you pull him back here, tank kills him on the other side, life is good. Same thing here, there's a spider pack again, and you just do the same sort of thing. You can pull it with your pet all the way back to this hallway here, and have your tank stand on one side, the rest of your raid stand on the other, and kill all the spiders. Then you can move into the room here, and there's another spider pack where you basically do the same thing. You pull with your pet, bring it around the corner, and then your tanks can stand out over here. Now, as a hunter, the one thing that you can do as well is you can have some sort of dispel poison or something on your action bar to immediately remove poison, and you can stand a little bit away from the spiders so that you can still do damage to them if you want, because you can't really do a lot of damage as a hunter in melee. But I mean, you're a hunter. How much damage? How much of an damage increase are you really doing on some mobs as a hunter if you're ranging versus if you're meleeing? So it's up to you if you want to stand out. Just make sure that if you do, you're the only one standing out, and you have a dispel poison ready, or somebody's ready to dispel you. And then you get in here and you do your Anubricon boss. Hopefully the tank has a swiftness potion. If not, then you can help him out with aspect of the pack. But I mean, again, there's guides on those they'll help you out. After you kill a Anubricon, get back into here. There's a small spider. There's another skitter pack here. You can pull that, and tanks can AoE it down, or your mages can AoE it down. Now, once you get to this door, there is a skitter pack patrol again that is going to be going just around this room. The easiest way to do this that I found is basically just body pull by standing right here in front of the gate, and that first spider in the skitter pack is just going to run up to you, and it's going to start attacking you, and you can just run back to your raid. Hopefully they're all standing in the same spot, so they're all just going to die pretty quick. Once you move into this room, again, quickly mark up these targets. If you're using the F keys, F6 all the way to F12, it's really easy to just boom, 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 just mark them all up and move down one side of the room. You don't have to clear both sides. One side should be enough, and you should be good to go. Once you get to here, you have another skitter pack, and you want to make sure that at this point you turn on, if not already on, you want to make sure that your track beast is on. That way you can see where the Venom Stalkers, that's what they're called, where the Venom Stalker patrols are at, so that you don't pull them with the skitter packs at the same time. So turn on your track beasts right here and move on in here and make sure that when you pull this first skitter pack, you're not pulling the patrol that might be hidden behind this little wall right here. You pull them around this corner, bring them all back, AoE them down, skitter pack dead, life is good. Come on in here, and similar to the pulls back at the beginning of the Spider Wing, you want to do the same thing where the patrol gets pulled with, you know, one tank on one side, one tank on the other, and nobody's getting poisoned. Stack on the butt, do what you can, don't die. There's three more skitter packs in here, basically, just waiting for you. And the important thing is to pull these without pulling the patrols at the same time. Now, the easiest way to do this is to mark the patrols. I typically use star because it's the last mark that is in, you know, from F6 all the way to F12. It's just the last mark that I don't have to worry about. So you just put star on there, it's easy. And you track the patrols where they are going so that you don't accidentally pull. Like, yeah, you can look at your mini map, but sometimes it's kind of hard to tell exactly how far away they are. So just mark them up so you can see, and hopefully you don't pull them. So you want to pull the first skitter pack that's right here, and then you want to pull the second skitter pack that's right here. At that point, you might have an opportunity to pull one of the patrols. If you can, pull it up here. Again, I would highly recommend using your pet for this if you can. But again, if you're using your pet, keep track of where both of the Venom Stalker patrols are at, because you don't want to pull 4 of them. You only want to pull 2. Now, here's what I like to do here. Before you start killing all of these acolytes over here, I like to kill the skitter pack here, because there's a couple packs of acolytes that are really close together, and it's a lot easier to just run straight back and then up here, rather than trying to just run around the corner and potentially aggroing a whole other acolyte pack. I've never had it happen, but it's always kind of like, kind of close and kind of nerve-wracking. So I would pull those back and then just basically make a sharp turn. It's a lot easier to do that if you kill the skitter pack that's back here. Now, this part is, if done right, you can speed up your entire run a lot more. We'd have all of our raid basically wait up top here. I will run down and throw marks up on the acolytes only, and then I'd pull, run back, and then run all the way up to where the rest of the raid is at. The melee and healers, everybody's going to be standing over here. Tanks are going to stand a little bit further back, and melee are going to wait until the marked targets, the acolytes, come up, and they're going to interrupt and kill the acolytes once they arrive up at the top. Everybody else, all the unmarked targets, the NPCs that you got to kill, they're going to be getting tanked over off to the side. You want to kill the acolytes first, and then kill the other guys as well. But if you're the hunter, it's a lot quicker if once they're pulled up here, you just let the raid handle it, but then you run back down and start marking up targets again, getting ready to pull the next group. You don't really need to hang out here for too long. The raid should be able to handle it. You're just a lonely hunter who's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage anyway because you're a hunter. So I would say once most of the NPCs are dead, just start running back down here, getting ready to pull again. You don't need to help out all the way to the very end. It's just going to slow things down. So go mark your targets, mark your acolytes again, and just start pulling them up the same way every single time. Keep in mind, there is a skitter pack here, a patrol that's going to be making sort of a C route. I guess you could call it a C route behind the boss and back up in front of it again, and then back behind the boss, and sort of doing like a U, sideways U. Make sure that you mark that. I would highly recommend marking that as well, because if you pull the acolytes and they come up here and the acolytes take some time casting, and then next thing you know, they aggro the skitter pack, but you can't tell because you're up here. If you see that marked target, that patrol that you marked coming up as well, then at the very least, you'll be able to tell your raid, hey, we got skitter packs as well, and not just start killing them up here and lo and behold, holy crap, you got a whole bunch of skitters, now you got to kill those as well. It just mentally kind of prepares people. It gets people ready to click their sappers, etc. The Once you kill most of the acolytes, you can get that patrol safely. Again, there's usually one spider that is ahead of the rest of the pack. That's the one that you want to shoot and pull, because weirdly enough, that's where the game sort of recognizes of where the patrol is actually at. So if you pull one of the spiders in the back and not the lead one, then you might end up aggroing an acolyte pack that you haven't pulled yet. So I would highly recommend just pulling that first spider, unless there's a lot of room, then you don't really have to worry about it. Once you pull all the acolyte packs, you can, do the boss and kill it and get it down and good to go. After the boss, you come over here and there's another pack of mobs here. Basically just mark them up and kill them. We like to pull them back just a little bit because there is a skitter pack that comes right up to this edge. It just patrols back and forth and back and forth. So pull them back a little bit. Hopefully you don't get that skitter pack. Kill the mobs. Go forward. Kill the skitter pack. It'll probably just run into your raid. You can pull it if you want to make it easier and save some time, but it's easy to kill. You just pull it and yeah. Then you move on. There's another pack here. You just let the tanks and let everybody run into this. You don't really need to pull it. I know sometimes as a hunter, even myself, I'll just get caught in this groove of wanting to pull every single mob. You don't have to do that. Really think about what mobs can your tanks run into and just immediately start building threat on, rather than the mobs all running to you and the tanks having to chase them. So really just think, do I really need to pull this, or can the tanks run into it? This is one of those mobs where your tanks can just run into it. Once you get to this spot here, again, you really want to make sure your track beast is on, because there are going to be Venom Stalker patrols that are going to be walking back and forth through this entire area. There's 2 patrols that we've run into. I've never ran into more than 2 Venom Stalker patrols here, but they are there, and they will creep up on you. They walk slow, but they creep up on you, and when you're killing mobs, if you're not paying attention, they will just walk up, and it's hard to adjust if you're not prepared. So turn on your track beasts immediately, if not already on, once you get to here. And then just start pulling, right? So you're going to pull your gargoyle packs all the way back here. Again, mark them up. Make sure that your rogues and paladins know which targets to interrupt. Usually we have a paladin throw a Hodge on the gargoyles once they get to 50% health. So again, it's important to mark up all your targets and have assignments for everybody. And as a hunter, you really want to make sure you're marking everything. So don't just pull things and not have marks, especially if you have assignments. Now, once you pull all the gargoyles and you pull the shade in the middle here back, you're going to be standing in the middle of the room here. Check your mini map for the stalker patrols, because there's probably going to be one coming down the ramp here, and you don't want to be killing your gargoyles or your caster dudes here, whatever they're called, while the spiders are coming down. Kill everything in this room. Kill the casters. Pull them back a little bit if you can. I know they're casters, but I like to kind of pull them back just because there's 2 gargoyle packs going back and forth here. So if you can pull them back, go ahead and do it. After they're dead, you want to pull. So you're going to have a gargoyle pack on the left and on the right. What's important here is that you don't pull all 4 at the same time, because your raid's probably going to wipe if you pull all 4 of them, unless you're super good. So you want to pull only 2 at a time. If they are right next to each other, these ones shouldn't be, but if you're in an instance where you have both of these patrolling at the same rate right next to each other, one of the things you can do is get a rogue up there, throw a distract on one of the packs, and then they're not going to be patrolling at the same time. Then they can kind of get separated, throw a skull onto one of them, make sure that the whole raid is targeting that one. And the thing about these gargoyle packs is, if you're pulling them as a hunter, you really don't want to pull them from far away, because they're going to throw an AoE dot onto your entire raid, and the amount of time that it takes for that gargoyle to fly to you just to get to the raid is going to just allow it that much more time to put another dot on the raid. So if you can, let your tanks run into it or be really close to it so that it doesn't have a lot of extra time. Once you get your Venom Stalker pack that comes down here, or patrol if it comes down here, just be ready to do the same thing, or you have everybody stack on the butt or stand beside a wall. There's a little wall right here that you can use. Stack on them, kill them, just like you did at the very beginning here. There's going to be another 2 acolyte packs, or not acolytes, casters, whatever the heck they're called. There's a little wall here you can LOS if you want, and you just pull them down here. and kill him here. Again, make sure you're paying attention to your mini-map because you're going to get, spiders walking on you. Mark up your gargoyles, mark up your shades, kill them, kill everything in this room, kill everything here, and just move to Naxxramas. You kill Naxxramas, and then you teleport back to the beginning, and congratulations, now you are on to the Death Knight Wing. At the beginning here, remember earlier when I said that you use the DBM timer here? You're going to get your DBM/10 ready to go. But before you do that, you're going to kill these packs on the side, on the left, and on the right. You want to kill the Death Knight first, so mark that one with the skull, and then kill the little dudes off to the side of them as well. You pull them all the way back around the wall, LOS, and then a patrol will walk up here, and the patrol will be a shade and then 2 smaller skeleton casters. You want to kill those skeleton casters first, so mark them with the skull and the X, and then you want to kill the shade third. It's just basically going to be patrolling back and forth up this hallway. One of the things you can also do too is have a rogue distract the shade and the skeletons, and then you can do a DBM/10, it'll start a timer, and you can just blow up the skull and then move on to the X and just down it really easily. Once you get to this little corridor here, you're going to pull some more mobs. There's like a group of 4 or so here. Always make sure that you're marking the Death Knight with the skull first, killing him first, and then pulling him back here and killing him. Nothing too big about those pulls. There is a patrol of 2 guys that walks in like a C formation here again. Once you're able to pull them, pull it all back into this room. Same thing with there's little skeletons over here that you can pull one at a time if you really want to. And then there's a shade that's patrolling back and forth here as well. So basically here you're just looking for the patrols and pulling things when you can. Nothing too crazy. Same thing here. You're going to mark up these 4 guys at the doorway. You're going to pull them back. Nothing too crazy. I would recommend, unless you're going for speed or something, I really would highly recommend killing all of the guys back here on this wall, because these Death Knights over here, they will fear your raid, and they could fear them into all of these skeletons over here, and it could just become a nightmare real quick. You're going to want to pull all of these packs here away from each other and pull them back into this room, unless, again, you're going for speed. Just the safe thing to do is just pull them all back here. There is a patrol of a Death Knight and 2, weaker dudes, like a dwarf and something else. They're just going to patrol this entire upper half. Kill them when you can. And then this whole area here, you're just pulling things back and killing it, making sure the Death Knight dies first. The final pack at the end here, you can just have your tank run into him, and yeah. Once you get down, or once you start going down the ramp, there is this part's kind of hard to see on the map just because there's a top part and a bottom, but just pretend that we're on the bottom now. So you're going to go down this ramp here. You're going to see 2 horses that are patrolling. You want to pull those 2 horses first, kind of pull them up the ramp a little bit, stack them up, cleave them down, and then you're just going to go around the room just pulling everything and just making sure that you're not pulling extra mobs, and make sure you're marking them up, make sure you're killing the horses first. And yeah, there's a pack of 3 horses here. Here's an option that you have here. If you have a raid that's struggling with damage or killing 3 horses at the same time, which hopefully you don't, as a hunter, you can kite one of these horses. You can bring it up the ramp and just bring it back all the way towards the entrance here, and then your raid can kill 2 of the horses, and then you can feign death, and then the 3rd one will run back, and the raid will be ready to take it by then. Hopefully you don't have to do that. I've had to do that once before, and it was fun, but kind of unnecessary at this phase. Everything in this room has to die, or else it's going to aggro when you fight Instructor Vesuvius. So everything dies here. There are horses here in the stables area that will charge people, and it does a lot of damage to you if you get charged. I've seen it one-shot casters and everything. So if you're able to have your raid maybe LOS with one of the walls here, they can do that, or just be careful, try not to get charged. basically then you're just going to fight Vesuvius. You're going to do that whole fight. Now, this part here is interesting, right? So it's interesting in a sense that you have some options here as a raid of what you want to do or how you want to pull this. So one thing that we started doing in our raids is basically glitching all of this entire zone to just make it disappear. The way that you do that is, or if basically at this point a lot of your world buffs should be fading off. If you killed 3 wings now, and if you're just a casual raiding guild, some of your world buffs are going to be starting to fall off. But you're also going to want those for Saffron. So this would be a perfect opportunity for your raid to portal out, portal to Stormwind, get your world buffs again, and have somebody leave the raid, invite them to your raid, and have everybody in the raid basically log out and reset the raid. What this will do, and then kick that person and reinvite the original person. What this will do is when you reset the raid, it will clear all of the mobs here and you will not have to fight them. You don't have to pull them or anything. You can just go immediately from Vesuvius all the way over to your next boss here, Gothic. If you're not going to do that, then it's going to take you like an extra, 15 or so minutes to pull all these. So it's not too big of a deal, but it is your opportunity to go get world buffs again if you want to for Saffron. Then you're going to kill Gothic the Harvester, and he's going to die, and it's going to be a good day, and you're going to move forward and do 4 horsemen. Once you get here, these little circle areas here, it's the same thing as Spiderwing. You're going to kill your gargoyle, you're going to kill your ghouls, you're going to kill your shade, and you're going to kill your casters here. And this whole zone here is also similar to the Spiderwing in a sense that you have patrols as well that you have to look out for. But you want to have your track undead on because they're not going to be spiders. They're going to be a horse and 2 skeleton dudes. This space right here is you might need a rogue to distract these mobs here for you, because every time I've done Naxxramas, for some reason these gargoyle packs patrol right next to each other, and it's always kind of scary pulling them when they're right next to each other because 4 of these gargoyles can wipe your raid really easily. Move forward, kill everything here, look out for your patrols as they come, mark them up, and don't die, basically. And that's all there really is to that. And then you get to 4 horsemen. You do 4 horsemen, you kill 4 horsemen, and then you're on to Saffron and you're on to KT, and there's really no more pulls. Like once you get to 4 horsemen, that's basically the end of your job as a hunter in terms of pulls. So congratulations, you win pulling Naxxramas if you made it to here and your raid did not die. If you have any questions at all, I'm always happy to help out. Zira on Fairbanks, and yeah, if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to ask. And I hope this has been informative and not super boring. But if anybody's interested, just hopefully it helped out. Anyway, I'll see you guys around. Thanks for watching.